guys, M12 here, back with another video, and today I'm very excited for my first video in a while. I've still had RAM issues. Hopefully it won't mess up anything on this recording. I'm just going to do it to sort of measure the extent of the issues that I've been having. If nothing wrong happened, then you should be watching this video. Alright, strategy guide. Now, normally in the past, I've done strategy guides where I've just done straight playthroughs of it, explain every single move, why I did this. But in this one, it's more or less about picking what units to use and how you make your engagements in battles, which is a little bit different than what I've done before, because you don't really have specialized units, you just have numbers of armies, like in Age of Conquest 4 and that kind of stuff. So I figured, why not do it? Now, of course, I'm starting an assault on Windbreak Ridge. I'm not doing Behind Enemy Lines and Combat Patrol because, let's be honest, those two are pretty much just tutorial missions. These ones I'm going to go over details, tips, and strategies on what you can do, how you do them, and so forth. And I may even show a few alternate strategies to get one objective done, as I believe there's many. You can do it to whatever best suits you or whatever you have in your current situation, as it may not be 100% the same because, I don't know, maybe you might have a few less infantry men than I do when you go about this, because maybe the enemy decided to focus fire one of your guys more than they did in my video, or whatever the case may be, and so forth. Now, there are multiple ones, and as you can see, I think this is my worst one. I could have always done this a little bit better, but you don't have a whole lot of time to do what you need to sometimes. Sometimes this feels rushed. But the main thing here is that we're not worrying about speed or power. Speed and power are good to have, but it kind of sucks if you don't use the right technique. If you're not going to use the right units to go in and attack something, then you're not going to get a whole lot of power. You're not going to get the rating of destroying as many units as possible, because you didn't use the right units for the situation, and so forth. Now, for this one, I'm just going to go in and show you all the right engagements, what you need to do, and so forth. So, I'm not going to be doing a full playthrough of the mission, and I'm going to be skipping out on a few things. So yeah.
When are you going to give up?
Alright. So first thing you need to know, you'll be using Rifle Grunts, Bazooka Vets, and a light tank for this mission. Your Rifle Grunts are fast. They have rapid fire rifles, great for long range, good in combat, and good for shooting explosive barrels near your enemies, because they'll usually be out of range, provided that they fire at a reasonable distance. Bazooka Vets, slow-moving projectiles, can be charged to do more damage, great against anti-vehicle, but also be aware of the fact that there are anti-vehicles that are anti-infantry, so you always want to make sure that when you do that, you want to have the home field advantage, have cover and whatnot, so that even battle between anti-vehicle and anti-infantry, when they fight up against each other, will be in your favor as well. So you'll be relying a little bit more on the terrain and your battle, or shall we say earthworks per se, in this one, such as those two rifle grunts there are relying on the earthwork of the trees there. Sandbags are not earthworks. I'll be referring to this a lot, but earthworks is stuff naturally provided from the earth, such as trees and whatnot, that you can use to make fortifications or modify the field, like wooden fences and whatnot, which was actually used a lot during the American Civil War. Then you got trenches, which a lot of trench warfare was in World War I. Those are types of earthworks, but mainly we're just going to deal with fallen trees and flanking people here. So you'll engage in two conflicts here, and you'll need to flank them both. You should have learned this from General Herman on the last mission that you did, which is sort of like the tutorial. It's kind of easy. So, when you're flanking behind here, usually you're going to be first because you're telling your guys to move. Do take note that you can use a tree for cover if you want. And always remember, which is a main important thing here, that you can't tell your guys to go somewhere just by hitting Y. And they'll usually go back to defense mode. It's usually great after a gunfight if you need someone to go into your med packs.
Plunging heavy recons at 6 o'clock.
Alright, now's the point where we take control of our bazooka vets and make use of them. So here's what we need to do.
From the garrison at Windbreak.
Okay,
These boys have the firepower to neutralize the enemy.
go here, take control of bazooka vets, tell these guys to stay there, and then we'll get ready. You lock onto a vehicle, fully charge your weapon, then when they get close, tell the rest of your guys to fire. They usually don't charge their weapons, I believe. Only you do. Not not the men under your command, once again. Tell them to, go there, they'll grab, med packs if they want, and then tell the rest of your units to follow you. Actually swap back to an infantry guy. That will be useful earlier. Now, remember what I said about making sure you have the advantage in a anti-infantry versus anti-vehicle infantry battle? Anti-infantry vehicle versus an anti-vehicle infantry unit is that, one, they're both good against each other. Bazooka Vet versus Heavy Recon. They're designed to take out each other. Bazooka veterans can make use of sandbags here, cover, give them time to charge weapons. Now I'm going to have my guys follow me, and I'm going to tell one guy to go here. Now, if anyone captures the point or starts to capture, you can always tell them to recapture. Another reason why we have this why I have this here is the capture point here. When an enemy infantry unit starts to pull down the strings and try to raise the flag to capture it, they have to pull down their flag and raise their own to the very top. You can reverse this action by telling your own units to recap it or to move there, and they'll do it for you. You can do it yourself, of course. Just walk up to a press B like you would on an MG nest to hop in it. But the main thing here is that infantry is sitting ducks while they do this, which means that high damage slow-moving projectiles, which they normally would be able to avoid if they could action roll, is not an option for them if they're busy capturing this. Also, why we keep our bazooka vets here, because they can just open fire on that if they need to. Hopefully we will not need to use this, but it's also sort of an extra tip that I almost never need to use, but another reason why I keep my bazooka vets here inside the base.
Infantry attack at the rear of the base.
Alright, we got a guy in there. Tell these guys to move here. Then we engage infantry on infantry, anti-vehicle infantry on vehicles from the safety of their own base and so forth. Alright, a few things you need to know here. MG Nest, if you focus fire on a rifle guy, if it's not moving, will drain its health bar very fast and very quickly. What you also want to do is sometimes if people are focus firing you want to be able to point at them and tell your guys to move there. Don't forget, you can also tell them to heal by moving towards med packs as well. Your infantry versus infantry, you're on the same level. Both of you are going to lose health, but we have a slight advantage here. Alright. Now I'm going to tell them to defend, and then we're going to move to our bazooka vets. Now it's better if you take control of one of these, as you can, of course, charge the weapon, be ready to fire it.
The message log records each of my radio broadcasts. Use it when you need to remind yourself of your orders.
Alright. I believe they're getting close. And then we open fire. But I definitely do not want them to move too far away from the base. That bazooka vet's is getting a little too far away. But I also, at the same time, we want to be near the base so we can retreat if we need to cover, but also have the room to be out in the open and also maneuver around the MG gun and maneuver and avoid MG gunfire as well.
Ready to strike. Head for the Silver Star.
Alright. Then we tell them to move back here.
Here I come. Rifle Squad 2, attack.
Defend. Tell to go to one guy, just press Z. It usually brings you to someone who's not in the MG nest, but you can easily swap back to the guy that was in the MG nest to begin with. Alright.
Remember to use global mode for a broader perspective on the battlefield. Press any direction on the plus.
This is usually good if you want to... Global mode is actually quite good if you want to figure out if enemies are near explosive barrels, if you want to blow one up, but usually it's worth... You'll get better use out of it if 2 or 3 people are near it. It may not one-hit them, but it'll definitely do like 80% damage to like 3 different guys and so forth.
But if I know the Tungan, they are merely gearing up for an even more devastating attack.
Once again, tell them to move there. Get the health packs.
Colonel, for your sake, I hope you have men dug in on both sides.
And pretty much you just gotta pick one and defend. You can't be at both. I have confidence that these guys can do this, but if you don't want to be near your infantry while you do this, tell them to go here and stay within the range of the MG nest so that they can take use of that rather than just being infantry versus infantry. It's infantry into... So it's infantry and 2 MG nest versus just infantry. And then get these guys to follow me, take this out. There's only 3 vehicles here, so you may actually get this one done faster, 2 or 3 vehicles. Then you can pretty much hop over to the infantry fight, and then assist there if you want as well. Okay, run back.
I did not think we could take this much punishment.
And then here's the part where you want to swap to a guy in an MG nest. Now,
Strike at the very heart of your...
they're going to send in a T-Copper for reinforcements. At this point, you want to call all the units to you.
Perimeter of the base.
Now, this MG nest will not do enough damage to destroy it. As a matter of fact, it regens health before it can drop down its units because that's part of the mission. You actually don't want to focus fire it unless you want to get 100% power, but then again, that means your infantry units are firing at that and not necessarily the people who are actually doing damage, as your T-Copter does not... As T-Copters cannot do damage, as far as I know, or have any weapons on it. It's just purely for transportation.
The radar array long enough.
Now, of course, they drop in infantry units close to this, so you usually just want to make sure the capture point is nice and captured.
Pick up my speed.
If they don't hop on it, it's usually at the top. You can usually tell by looking at the flag there.
Get down to the river crossing.
But now here's the fun part where we use the light tank. Now in the light tank, or any vehicle whatsoever, they have a set number of crew. Each time you destroy a vehicle, you'll drop a jerry can and a set number of health packs equivalent to the number of crew there. Now this is one less than what light tanks would normally have because, as you can see on the top, we do not have a guy in the MG nest. That's usually an upgrade that we get later. Same thing with the light recon and another mission, which will actually be covered in the next one that I do. Now, it's not just a light tank, it's light tank versus anti-vehicle infantry versus 2 light tanks. So I actually have the advantage because not only is it 2 versus my light tank, but I also have the advantage because I have Bazooka Vets who can charge their weapons to do more damage, and they fire a lot faster, it seems like, because there's more of them versus just me, which is also why you have an advantage here. Now, throughout the sake of this mission, I've always had the advantage of outnumbering at the point of attack or overpowering at the point of attack, whether it be infantry on infantry with the assistance of 2 MG nests, or tanks and anti-infantry versus just a tank, a few tanks themselves as well. So, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed watching this strategy guide. If you'd like to see more for any of the other missions that I can do, that is fine. Now, 95 speed, not a whole lot, but right here I got 100% technique, and that's what we aim for. You can get, if you get anything high, if you get higher, if you get like less than 50 technique, but you somehow get 100% power, or high power and high speed, then you're usually just going in and doing lightning warfare, where you're just fast attacks, one against another, just berserking, charging in, with no care about how you go about doing things, and you're not that much efficient. Technique is how efficiently you can use your army. The better you have it, the more units you'll have towards the end goal, which might be capturing a base in HQ or something, And if you don't have those kind of infantry to take it out, then you're not going to be able to do so in the end. Which is also why you need to sort of preserve it for later on, because you don't know what's going to happen when and where. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, it'd be much appreciated to share some any comments, questions, feedback, all that kind of stuff. I will be doing other missions on this game. Fan suggested ones in the comment section down below will be done first. So feel free, if you have any suggestions, or if you have trouble with the preferred mission and you want me to do a strategy guide on that one, I'll do that versus me just pretty much going in order from mission to mission, which I'll do until someone recommends a level and whatnot and so forth. So, I'll be checking the comments for that. Other than that, hope this video was helpful, and hopefully maybe my others ones will be too.